because of the emissions trading system.
Question number 8, Todd Barclay.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Corrections and asks, what recent announcement has she made regarding drug and alcohol testing for offenders in the community and defendants on bail?
Mr Speaker.
The Honourable Louise Upston.
Yesterday, the Minister of Police and I announced a new initiative in which police and corrections will monitor and test offenders and people on bail with conditions not to consume alcohol or drugs. It allows staff to target those with the highest risk of causing alcohol-related harm with more intensive testing and monitoring. The main form of testing will be urine testing, and police will use existing breath alcohol testing technology throughout the country. Some high-risk offenders and people on bail will be fitted with alcohol detection anklets as part of this monitoring. These anklets detect alcohol in sweat and provide evidence if they have consumed alcohol against their abstinence conditions. The new legislation empowers staff to get evidence about drug and alcohol consumption. Staff can then take action, giving further treatment or sanctions to offenders who have breached their conditions.
Supplementary question, Todd Barclay.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. How will this new initiative help to reduce reoffending?
The Honourable Louise Upston.
Harmful alcohol and drug use is a major driver of crime. About half of crime is committed by people under the influence of alcohol or drugs. Providing extra support to offenders who are struggling with addiction is a step towards helping them make a positive change to their lives. Negative tests can provide evidence of sobriety to employers and help offenders get a job, reducing their chances of reoffending. Mr Speaker, at recent employer breakfasts that I have hosted, I have met employers who are so keen to employ more offenders, which is absolutely great news.
Supplementary question, Mahesh, Bindra.
What assurance can she give that this monitoring system for drug and alcohol use will be just as effective as the supposedly uncuttable ankle bracelets that needed only a pair of scissors?
Mr Speaker.
The Honourable Louise Upston.
So one of the clear challenges with the anklets is if an offender has an accident or if they have an illness that creates swelling. We absolutely do not want to be in a position that has been in other countries that has meant serious injury because of the anklets. So yes, there is the ability, in the case of an emergency, to have it removed, which means greater outcomes for the offender.
A supplementary question, Mahesh, Bindra.
Why are taxpayers shelling out their money to pay a company in the United States to monitor Kiwi offenders, and just what does that say about her government's commitment to employing Kiwis and Kiwi technology companies?
Mr Speaker.
Honourable Louise Upston.
Mr Speaker, we are serious in police and corrections at reducing levels of crime. We want to use technology that's been tested thoroughly overseas and is used by other countries. In this case, this technology is new to New Zealand. I think it's an exciting opportunity to give offenders a new opportunity to support their compliance. We want to use technology that's tested.
Supplementary question, Todd Barclay.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. What other interventions is corrections targeting at offenders with alcohol and drug issues?
Mr Speaker.
Honourable Louise Upston.
As part of an $8.6 million package from the Justice Sector Fund last year, Corrections is also providing extra support to offenders with alcohol and drug needs. These initiatives include a 24/7 alcohol and drug support line for offenders and prisoners, and that line will be staffed by experienced registered alcohol and drug practitioners. The Covering Support Live goes live on the 24th of May. There are also 16 new alcohol and drug aftercare workers employed in prisons across the country since July last year. And in addition, over and above the existing beds that are used for residential treatments, an additional 13 residential beds in treatment facilities with offenders with significant alcohol and drug needs.
Question number 9, Carmel Sepuloni.
To the